Yo, welcome to the last review for Pokemon Journeys this year, episode 49, Koharu and the very mysterious Eevee. Alright, so this is the story about Koharu's first step into becoming a Pokemon trainer. So how interesting is it that we start with Go joining Koharu on the way to school? We quickly cut to an Eevee though in a research lab, looking like it's trying to decide what to evolve into. When exposed to various stones, it just won't evolve either. So Go asks Koharu about catching Pokemon, but she kind of reinforces maybe she won't because people think she has to because she's the professor's daughter. And we get some callbacks to the first Gengar episode, which was also a Koharu episode. Go reveals that he made a promise to the teachers that he'll be back to school for exams. He leaves Cinderace to take care of Sobble, who started crying, which is pretty cute. Meanwhile, Yamper has wandered away and Eevee kind of follows it around. So this is kind of like what Eevee does, it kind of copies other Pokemon and stuff. So the lab staff chases them, and Ash sees them as he was taking care of Yamper on a walk. Team Rocket infiltrate the school as well to steal all the Pokemon, where Yamper and Eevee also arrive. Koharu notices Yamper outside and goes to see it, and it shows her the Eevee. And as she sees the scientists, she hides it, and she calls Go out. He distracts them, but the scientists see Koharu running and start chasing after them. So Team Rocket starts sucking up Pokemon in the machine, including Cinderace and Sobble, and oh my god, when Ash runs towards him he falls into a classic pitfall trap. Wow, that's a throwback, I missed these. So the scientists tell them what's up, and they're just from a lab. And Team Rocket also reveal themselves, and they call him the Gacha Machine. But wow! This use of it is actually really good, since the Gacha Machine just doesn't work at all. So hopefully that's a good omen for the future. They call back in Pelipper, and James takes command of it. Now look, Pelipper doesn't do too much, but don't get me wrong, it's so much better than a generic Gacha Pokemon. Koharu battles it with Yamper, and Eevee joins in the fight too. Eevee, seeming to know Spark as well, helps defeat Pelipper. So now defenseless, Team Rocket tries to run off with a Pokemon, but Pikachu frees the Pokemon and just blasts them off. The scientists apologise and start to leave with Eevee, who looks back at Koharu. It leaps out their arms and runs back to her. They recognise Eevee's love for her, and also think that Eevee might not know what path to take, similar to Koharu herself. The scientist suggests he takes Eevee, and Koharu agrees. I absolutely adore that Go is the one to give Koharu her first Pokeball for her first Pokemon, and she finally captures Eevee, and Sakura gives her a phone and Rotom. So finally, this long-awaited event has happened. Koharu has become a Pokemon trainer, and I felt that they did a really good job at tying her Pokemon into her character. Koharu is undecided on her goal. Eevee doesn't know what it wants to become. It fits super well. And while everyone wants to complain that a Pokegirl is just given Eevees all the time, I don't think any Pokemon could have worked as well for Koharu. Now I find it weird that Yamper wasn't Koharu's first Pokemon, but this was done well enough that I can accept that it wasn't. You seriously could not do this story with any other Pokemon. The many branching paths of Eevee's evolution mirrors Koharu's future possibilities very well. Now in terms of being a capture episode, it's maybe not the most complex and exciting thing ever, especially in comparison to say Go, who had a very action-packed and more emotional capture of Scorbunny. This works well for what it is. I actually surprisingly like Team Rocket for once outside of their own episodes in this series. This is a very classic crazy Team Rocket scheme feel. They brought back the Pitfall Trap, and the Gacha just didn't work, making this its best appearance so far. Now, to be honest, Ash and Go didn't really do much, but they didn't need to. This episode was about Koharu and Eevee. So overall, I like this episode a lot. I think it's going to do a lot of good for Koharu, kind of breaking the cyclical type of episode she's been going through. Hopefully this is a new beginning for her, even if she doesn't necessarily join a group all the time. But please, let me know how you feel about this episode.